Oh, so now the game has plot holes? First Dorothy's useless, now this? Maybe if he stopped trying to rage bait the community, he'd get more subs.
Stop.
This is a phrase often followed up by the feeling of time being put to a complete halt. At least when it's spoken by these two. But what is Kotodama? You'd think a power as simple as "what I say goes" would be simple to understand.
A bubble!
Huh. It's not all that different, I guess. I could work with this. But due to Shift Up's intentional vagueness with the power, almost everything I hear about it is either a headcanon or straight up wrong. But that's okay. Because I've went through every instance in the game that Kotodama was used or talked about and can tell you what they can do, might be able to do, and what they probably should have or could do in the future by now.
Begin.
Hey, so I'm gonna be treating these powers as if they aren't the exact same. The game never says they are, and also they honestly don't even follow the same rules. I also won't be talking about Guillotine. This is all we know about her. And this one just doesn't use Kotodama.
What? No guillotine when she's in the thumbnail? This video is cooked, man.
So let's start with the one we know the most about. According to our dev notes, as long as what Siren says is phrased as a command, her Kotodama will activate. And honestly, knowing this while going through all of her dialogue gave me a big appreciation for how she speaks and how Shift Up writes how she speaks. The best example of this would be in Mudfish. She can't just simply ask Levi to stop hiding from her or don't be scared, otherwise her powers would activate. So instead, she tries to communicate through fish and bubbles to drop her guard and get her to come out of hiding. And this is all despite not having any problem speaking to her after the fact. She just can't ask her to do things. Now, we've seen her Kotodama work on raptures, Nikkes, and humans alike. And these commands can vary a lot. From simple movements like
Gather at the center.
to straight up memory manipulation.
Remember who you are!
Cause yeah, sure dog. To prevent this busted ability from friendly fire, Abe made her Spindrift, a liquid metal that can carry her voice that she primarily controls with her brain. She can also use Kotodama on the bubbles to give them specific commands and even turn them into like kinda robots. The way she primarily controls her bubbles is important because I don't believe she can do this with just any object.
Stop.
Hey, Present Mall Guy here. So, Siren decided to become a waterbender in the most recent event. So, everything I'm saying right now might loosely apply to liquids in general. We really don't know. The working theory is that she's mixing Spindrift into the water to control it, but we quite literally have zero proof of any of this. So, I just felt the need to say that.
Begin.
Would make perfect sense, however, that since they're connected to her brain, she can give them commands as if giving commands to herself. And Nikke's least reliable narrator has said that she can do this. However, I must say, with the context of the scene, it did sound like she was joking, so take this with a grain of salt. Another thing we're not so sure about is the permanence of her commands, or how long they last after she gives them. Everyone she's used them on has been forced to follow the command until she reactivates her power. Besides Cinderella, of course. For whatever reason, Cinderella was just able to go nuh-uh twice to Siren's commands. And I don't really know the reason for the second one, but I might be able to explain the first. After getting blasted, Siren decided to tell Cinderella to stop, and she did. For all of 5 seconds before Cinderella broke her jaw. I think this happened though because Siren was about to tell Cinderella to go to sleep. and the way she cancels her commands is by reactivating her power. So since Siren was trying to issue another command, it would make complete sense that it not only canceled the first one, but also Cinderella took advantage of the time it took her to weakly say the next command, mind you, and disable her Kotodama. Now, I could try to think up a reason why she broke free the second time, but it would just be speculation at this point. I'd rather talk about our next user, who we admittedly... Hey, could you,
A bubble.
Thank you. Have much less concrete information on. Currently, only one of her events are on the canon timeline, and even though I have valid reasons for the information I am considering canon, take everything with a grain of salt. Now, despite common belief, Maiden does not need her mask. While she has admitted that it does help her control her powers, she has shown numerous times that she just doesn't need it to control her Kotodama, and that she can very easily just decide what's deemed a command and what isn't. We also know her commands can be very specific as well, though she mostly just says
Stop.
probably because that solves most of her problems.
Begin.
And even though her squad does go on surface missions, we only know for sure that her Kotodama works on Nikke's. That is, if you're not paying attention. Okay, now hear me out. Maiden might not only be able to use her Kotodama on humans and raptures, but can also just decide which group is affected by her commands. Now wait. I have proof. Because she has affected humans before, and that was in her Bond story. Now, there's a lot of discussion about whether Bond stories can be considered canon and or which ones are canon, but the canon event on the timeline could not have happened if her Bond story didn't happen to begin with, so this is what we're going to go with. Now, towards the end of her Bond story, Maiden had to apprehend an irregular that was deaf. This is a problem for obvious reasons, but it was further intensified by the fact that the irregular was a mass-produced model, so she blends in, and on top of that, there were civilians involved. Luckily, our oh-so-reliable commander did what he does best and gave her a plan. If the irregular can't hear her Kotodama, just use it on everyone else, and the person that moves is the irregular. The thing is, everyone included not only the civilians, but the commander as well. And I'm gonna assume it wasn't a coincidence that this is the only time he's described it as time is frozen, instead of it feels like time is frozen. It's not even the most interesting part about this special scenario though, because this was the one time her commands were shown in brackets, and they never show up like this again. Every other time they're shown in quotation marks or just with nothing surrounding them at all. And while these may seem randomly placed, if we treat these like different kinds of commands, suddenly everything just kinda clicks. Quotations only appear when she's targeting Nikke specifically. She's done this twice when trying to command guillotine. Only times her commands have nothing surrounding them are when she's dealing with irregulars or are in places where raptures could be. Now these commands only work on Nikke's and maybe raptures. I say maybe because we technically haven't seen any raptures be affected, but it does affect corrupted Nikke's. And I'm not even gonna try to pretend to know the difference between a rapture and a corrupted Nikke. However, I say these are different kinds of commands because we've seen her use both at the same time. During her fight with Kraken, she needs the boat driver to not run into pieces of Kraken, so she issues a command without brackets. However, when she cancels the command, it does have brackets. This makes perfect sense because she needs to stop everything in the area when she's stopping her allies. but has no reason to stop any raptures that could have been affected, so she issues a command that only reactivates the Nikkes. Like, bro, you could apply this logic to any command she uses and I swear it makes sense. Sure, I could be completely overanalyzing a complete coincidence made by the Shift Up writers, but that doesn't make me crazy. I just completely believe in them. Honestly, they've done a really good job at keeping these two consistent, and anytime their abilities hasn't worked, makes sense, almost. The problem is that this ability is genuinely as broken as it sounds. Especially for Siren. Like, if Reptilian can use the cornerstone of evolution to convince multiple Raptures to just be chill with humanity, there's no reason Siren can't do the same. Oh, you guys lost your memories? Remember yourself. You cannot convince me that there is an interaction out there that Old Tales cannot deal with by just having Siren be in a safe place, send a tiny little bubble towards the enemy, and either have her pop ult or stun them long enough for Cinderella to just take care of the problem. Like, Shift Up, you gotta stop vague posting and give us a counter or a caveat or something to stop Old Tales from just invalidating any future opponent. Because unless we have Abe's magic helmet, the opponent can't understand language, or they have prior knowledge of her abilities. Oh. Man, they're gonna break her jaw again, aren't they?